Since taking office in January, the Trump administration has revoked nearly 80,000 non-immigrant visas without warning. Right now, students with perfect grades, workers with clean records, and visitors who've followed every single rule are waking up to letters that destroy their entire future in America. And the reasons they're using to strip people of their legal status should terrify anyone who isn't a US citizen. But what the administration doesn't want you to know is that they're not just targeting people with criminal records anymore. They're using social media posts, political opinions, and even associations with certain organizations to revoke visas at a speed and scale this country has never seen before. Which is why in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly who's being targeted in this unprecedented visa revocation operation, who's next on their list, and the 3 critical steps you must take immediately to protect yourself before they come for you. I'm Jayson DiMaria, and I've been defending thousands of people from deportation, keeping families together for over 20 years. What's happening right now with these visa revocations is unlike anything I've ever seen before in the past. The speed, the scope, and the reasons they're using to strip people of their legal status should terrify anyone who isn't a US citizen. I'll give you an example of a student who went through just this. Let me tell you what happened to Carmen. She's been in the United States on a student visa for 3 years, maintaining perfect grades, following every rule. Last week, she got a letter that changed everything. Her visa had been revoked because of a social media post she made 2 years ago supporting Palestinian rights. Carmen thought her academic record and clean background would protect her. She was wrong. The government didn't care about her grades or her contributions to her university. Her social media posts were enough to destroy her entire future in America. But what makes Carmen's story a nightmare for everyone watching this is that Carmen isn't alone. Across the country, students, workers, and visitors are having their visas revoked for reasons that would have seemed impossible just years ago. The administration has expanded the grounds for visa revocation to include things like social media posts, political opinions, and even associations with certain organizations. They're not just going after people who committed crimes. They're targeting people for their thoughts, their beliefs, and their online activity. And they're doing it with a level of surveillance and investigation that people never imagined was impossible. The White House press secretary confirmed these numbers publicly. 80,000 visa revocations and counting. But what they're not telling you is who's next on their list. What's happening with these visa revocations isn't random enforcement. It's a systematic operation designed to remove as many citizens as possible from the United States using any excuse they find. And the criteria they're using to choose targets should terrify anyone who isn't a US citizen. But here's what the government doesn't want you to know about how they're really choosing who loses their legal status. The administration has created a sophisticated system for identifying and targeting people for visa revocation. They're using databases, social media monitoring, and background investigations that go far beyond anything that was done in the past. If you match their profile, you're not just at risk, you're actively being hunted. Here's how they're really choosing who loses their visa. First, they're targeting anyone with any criminal history, no matter how minor. This includes DWIs, assault charges, theft, even minor infractions that resulted in fines rather than jail time. According to the official numbers, around 16,000 revocations were for DUIs, another 12,000 for assault, and close to 8,000 for theft. These 3 categories alone accounted for nearly half of all visa revocations this year. But what's terrifying is that they're not just looking at recent convictions. They're going back years, even decades for some people, to find reasons to revoke these visas. A DUI from 15 years ago that you thought was resolved can now be used to destroy your legal status. But criminal history isn't the only thing putting you at risk. Second, they're targeting people based on their political beliefs and social media activity. The administration has made social media screening mandatory for nearly all visa applicants, and they're using the same technology to monitor people who already have visas. If you posted anything critical of US foreign policy, if you've expressed certain support for political causes, if you've even liked posts that government considers problematic, your visa could be revoked. More than 6,000 student visas have been canceled this year alone, many for social media posts related to political issues. Some students had their visas revoked for posts supporting causes that are completely legal to support in the United States. And there's a third category that's even more dangerous. Third, they're targeting people from certain countries or who have connections to organizations the government doesn't like. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has confirmed that hundreds, possibly thousands of visas have been revoked for activities Washington deems contrary to US foreign policy priority. This means your visa can be revoked not because of anything you did wrong, but because of where you are from or what organizations you've been associated with. Even legal associations, even organizations that operate openly in the United States can now be grounds for visa revocation. If you're watching this video and you have any type of visa or non-citizen status, you need to understand that you could be next. Call my office immediately at 973-934-5854 for an emergency consultation. We're offering same-day evaluations for only $50 to help people understand their risk and take action before it's too late. Don't wait until you get that revocation letter. By then, your options become extremely limited, so call the number on the screen right now. But here's what makes this entire operation even more terrifying. The administration isn't just revoking visas, they're doing it in a way that makes it almost impossible for people to fight back or even know it's coming. They're using tactics that strip away most of your due process rights and leave you with virtually no way to defend yourself. Here's how they're making it impossible to fight back. When they revoke your visa, you often don't find out until you try to travel or renew your status. There's no hearing, no advance notice, no opportunity to explain your side of the story. Many people only discover their visa has been revoked when they're detained at the airport trying to return to the United States. Imagine being stranded in a foreign country, unable to return to your job, your family, your entire life because your visa was revoked without warning. Even green card holders aren't safe these days. The administration has made it clear that they're willing to revoke permanent residence for people they believe shouldn't have received it in the first place. But the lack of due process isn't the only problem. The government is processing these revocations so quickly that most people don't have time to understand what's happening, let alone mount a defense. They're approving hundreds of revocations per day, often without thoroughly reviewing individual circumstances. The administration has also expanded background checks and introduced new screening procedures that can flag people for revocation based on information that wasn't even considered relevant when they first got their visa. This means something that was perfectly legal and acceptable when you applied for your visa can now be used as grounds for revocation years later. And there's one more terrifying aspect of this operation. The administration has made it clear that this is just the beginning. They've stated publicly that they want to slow down legal immigration dramatically and remove people they don't believe shouldn't be in the United States. Vice President J.D. Vance has advocated for getting the overall numbers way down because too many people have come into the United States of America. This isn't just about illegal immigration. They're targeting legal immigrants too. The 80,000 visa revocations we've seen so far are just the start of what they plan to be the largest removal operation in US history. But here's what you need to understand about protecting yourself. The longer you wait to address potential problems with your immigration status, the fewer options you'll have. Once your visa is revoked, fighting to get it back is exponentially more difficult and expensive than taking preventative action now. If you have any criminal history, any social media post that could be considered problematic, any association with organizations the government might not like, or if you're from a country that's being targeted for enforcement, you need to take action immediately. This isn't about politics. This is about your survival in America. The administration has made it clear that they're willing to use any excuse to remove non-citizens from the United States, and they have the resources and the technology to find those excuses. I've been practicing immigration law for over 20 years, and I've never seen anything like what's happening right now. The rules have changed, the enforcement priorities have changed. What seemed safe before may not be safe anymore. Your visa, your legal status, and your future in America are under attack. The only way to protect yourself is to take action now before they come for you. And now that you know the dangers of visa revocation, there's a major legal development that just happened with Trump's massive deportation plan that can be the reason you get deported and lose your family, which is why I made a video breaking down exactly what this court ruling means for you and your family's safety, because understanding these changes could be the difference between staying protected and being caught off guard when ICE comes to your neighborhood.